Hello and welcome, everyone, to a very special new installment of a Backlot Banter sort of retrospective on the summer movie season. I'm your good friend and your pal, Tanner Dykstra. I'm joined by my good friend and pal, but not necessarily yours, Tucker Hazel.
Okay. I gotta earn that.
Yeah, he's got to earn that. And we are here today to be doing a tier list of the
Yeah.
major releases of summer 2023. This is
Kids these days like tier lists.
we love tier lists, Tucker.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true.
We do them as well.
And what we're gonna
Tanner, I think we might be kids these days.
well, let's not go
Technically.
too far. Let's not go too far. But no, we're going to be ranking the major releases of the summer 2023 season, and just sort of talking about them along the way, and sort of analyzing how good of a summer movie season this was at the
Yeah.
end of the day by the relative balance between S and D tier. But before we get into all that, I want to remind you to like this video, to subscribe to Backlot Banter, and to comment down below maybe your tier list ranking of these, or if there's one...
That would be a lot to comment.
Well,
That's
maybe
a lot of fucking work.
maybe just tell us your favorites and least favorites. How about that?
Sure. Yeah. How about that?
Also,
sure.
we have a
Whoa.
Discord server.
That's
That
true.
link is in the description. You can talk about movies, you can talk about video games, you can talk about you get it.
But also,
Yeah.
in that description, I will include the link to this tier list if you want to make it yourself. And of course,
Perfect.
you can share a screenshot
Yes.
of that tier list on our Discord.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I'd love to see those. Okay, but Tucker, we're going to try to come to some sort of agreement about the placement of these films, are we not?
Yeah. And we're going to start where the summer started. We're going to go in chronological order here, and that, of course, is with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes.
Once again, Marvel kicking off this summer movie season, and this time with a bang.
Yeah.
Because, Tanner, we love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It is one of our... It might actually be our combined favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's within both of our top threes or
Yes,
something like
yes.
that. So, Tanner, I'm going to put it out on a limb.
Okay.
All right? Olive branch, here it goes. Is it S tier?
I think it's S tier.
It's gotta be.
uh,
Here's the thing.
yeah.
If a movie is in one of your top of the year, and it's one of your favorite movies in its respective franchise, like what... Anything below S tier making sense?
No, it wouldn't make sense to put it below S tier, especially for me, because Tucker, you know my journey with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We saw this opening night, and I didn't know what to think about it. I had a lot of feelings and emotions tied up in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. It was the original from 2014 is what really got me into loving movies and watching new releases and being excited about upcoming films. And now with the wrap up of it, I wasn't sure what to think. I had to go see it less than 24 hours later and cement my love for this film, especially in an era where we are getting, as some people may be saying, a lot of people may be saying, some low effort, low rent, low quality superhero films coming out, and this one is quite the opposite. So yes, it's going in S tier.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is. It's still one of my favorite movies of the summer of this year, and it'll be interesting as we go through this to sort of track the progress of this summer, because it was a summer full of a lot of ups and downs. Week to week, we could be going from one of the best movies from respective directors or respective series to, I can't fucking believe they were okay with putting that out in theaters.
Okay,
but Tanner, we're swinging from big to big here, because May didn't have a lot of big releases, but the three that it did were all massive studio productions. The second one being Fast X.
Oh, yes. Okay.
The end of the road begins, Tanner. And Tanner, I want you to begin the voting process here for where does Fast X go for you on the ranking?
Ooh, Fast X isn't getting above a B, I think. We both agree that this was quite a poor film.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not the best that the summer movie season had to offer. In a lot of ways, it exemplifies some of the worst that it had to offer. That being, a production that really reeked of being caught up in pandemic woes. A massively overinflated budget that ended up being quite disappointing, at least domestic.
And honestly,
return.
As we're looking at this list, we're not necessarily factoring in production and stuff like that. Really, we're talking about this on our subjective level, how much we enjoyed it. But it's good to think about this a little bit in advance, because we're going to be doing a Backlot Banter box office recap for the entire summer. And overinflated budget is kind of the key term for this summer.
Yeah,
because we
100%.
had so much, and I don't want to get into it. I just like thinking about it. But like, you're right. Fast X is a bad sign for that early in the summer movie season to just kind of be like, yeah, 300 million or more than 300 million. It's like
340.
whatever.
I believe.
We're not actually talking about that. So hold on. Fast X, bad movie, and frankly, has decreased in my mind.
Yeah.
As since I saw it, it is a totally enjoyable movie going experience. I do not regret going to see Fast X, but you say it's not going over B, and B was where my mind went. But I also think that because it feels kind of, slapped together and rushed and weird, I think it's C tier, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not one of the worst of the summer.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
because I had fun with it,
yeah.
it's not one of my it's not one of my least favorites.
That's true. But we did have fun with it. It's been months now, and it's easy to forget. But we were having fun in the moment, because it just has that Fast and Furious zaniness about it. But there's a lot to dislike about Fast X. So yeah, I'm fine. Let's put it in C.
Yeah.
There is some residual
maybe
love.
it's a B in my heart.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But
okay.
If I gotta be real, it's a C.
Okay. All right. Now, Tucker, what's up next? You have the release schedule here. I'm only looking at the jumbled tier list here. So what's up next?
We have, I said 3 big May releases.
Oh,
we went straight from
Gotcha.
Guardians 3 to Fast X into Little Mermaid. And
Yes.
Tanner, this is a movie you had a lot of thoughts about. But then, I gotta be honest, I don't think you've thought about it. You might have had a lot of thoughts going into it, but it's head empty going into the summer 2023. Little Mermaid, in one ear, out the other. Is this D tier for you?
It's not D tier for me.
Okay.
Ultimately,
No, because there's some real D tier movies that we're gonna get to here.
yeah, I think there is for sure. But like it is in one ear out the other in a lot of ways. So I'm fine saying Little Mermaid, mayhaps.
There you go. That works better.
You don't like Mid-Maid?
No.
What about the middle mid?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Okay, mid.
You can also just say Middle Mermaid.
No. The mid. I think is what we're gonna go.
Sure.
But no, I mean like we both enjoyed Halle Bailey's performance. I think.
Yeah.
And not much else out of this thing. It's actually back in theaters right now for a sing-along version.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I really want to see the on-screen captions for that goddamn Aquafina song.
And that's an element of it too. I mean, that's one thing that we're gonna all, of course, remember about the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And I feel like I kind of have to set it aside in a way from my just disdain for live-action Disney remakes, even though I think it falls into a lot of the same traps that a lot of those do. But I don't know, Tucker, what are your like months later thoughts on the Little Mermaid?
It is one of the more head empty movies for me of this summer. But to be honest, I didn't hate it, and I liked it more than I thought I would. So in my mind, this is a B tier movie. This is a serviceable summer release, big budget, major studio, and it contributed absolutely nothing to my summer movie diet, but it wasn't a detriment. And for me, it was a slight surprise, which I think is why I give it the edge that maybe you don't. And I also don't have the extreme disdain. I have some disdain. Okay. I don't have the extreme disdain that you do for the live-action Disney remakes. Yeah, so it's B for me. Are you okay with that? Or I'm okay with going C. If the need arises, if you feel strongly enough.
I'm okay. Let's do B. I think we're gonna talk a lot of times when we do these like collaborative videos. We kind of do this thing where we trade off one or the other, and I think there'll be trade offs that'll have to come in this video. And this is just first. This is the first, I think. So we'll put mid in B tier right now.
Okay. Now, Tanner, we are going straight to another big release because back-to-back weeks, The Little Mermaid and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse released. Spider-Verse was one of the highest-rated movies on Letterboxd when it came out. It was one of the most popular. It made a shitload of money, contributing to probably you beating me when it comes to our box office predictions for this summer. Which, oh god, we also have to do that video. But it was interesting. I love this movie, but it has stuck with me in the same way that Into the Spider-Verse has. So while it's nothing short of an amazing movie, and some might say spectacular even, the little Spider-Man puns, I think it won't be until this Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out that I'm truly able to appreciate Across the Spider-Verse. So as it stands, this might be controversial, but I'm going to say A tier.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm totally fine with
Is
A
that-
tier. I'm totally fine with A tier.
Do you have any comments either which way? Like, did your heart go S tier or not?
No, because I think I'm one of the relatively few people who are still like Into the Spider-Verse is better than Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're both in that boat, and this is getting like Best Picture people, like people August
happen.
predicting Best Picture for Across the Spider-Verse. I've seen people joking that that's the issue with trying to predict the Best Picture, the Oscars in August, is that things like that happen.
Yep.
And listen.
Like horse shit, like on Top Gun Maverick.
Hi, who cares? Across the Spider-Verse is a great film. I think it looks beautiful. I love the characterization.
Frankly, it looks better than Into the Spider-Verse. That's one place where I will compare them.
I think it does like take some more artistic liberties with its presentation of its characters and its worlds than Into the Spider-Verse does by nature of it going into different universes. At the same time, however, and maybe this will change on a rewatch when we rewatch it because it's going to get nominated for Best Picture this year. Like I vastly prefer that first half to the second half. Maybe not vastly, but like I think there's a disconnect for me when we're traveling through all the universes. I still enjoy it, but I think it loses like that really like personal heart that I really enjoyed out of the first half of this movie. When we're doing like all the Spider-Man chasing Miles Morales, which is fun, which is a fantastic sequence of animation, and just throwing it all out there for the creative team and what they've done with this. But I still have to say, like, it I don't want to say it left me wanting in some ways, but you
can say that.
I don't want to say it, Tucker. Don't make me say it, Tucker.
Tanner,
don't make me say it.
Fucking say it.
I'm not gonna say
it.
Because,
believe it.
And maybe this will like raise in my prestige as Into the Spider-Verse did years later.
Sure. And of course, of rewatch.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's a very rewatchable movie. I was able to see it a second time. I appreciate it a little bit more. But again, for me, it's not S because it didn't stick with me.
Yeah, that's
fair. The way that Into the Spider-Verse did.
Yeah, for sure.
So A tier it is for us. I mean, we're not like swinging too low, but this might be one of our more controversial placements. I don't know.
I think a lot of people would put this in S, but just not us, Tucker. We're different. Yeah. We're not like the other girls.
Different. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Tanner, I think I could give you most of this list, and you would not be able to say what's next because we saw the Boogeyman.
Oh yeah, we did.
And we have that here because it's a major horror studio release. And honestly, is there any more C-tier movie than the fucking Boogeyman, Tanner?
I don't know. Here's the thing. The Boogeyman wasn't a bad movie.
No. But, I don't know.
I think we agree that Fast X is a bad movie.
It is, but I also enjoyed Fast X significantly more than the Boogeyman.
Okay.
I said that the Little Mermaid contributed nothing to my cinematic diet, but I remember aspects of that movie. Tanner, the ball under the bed thing is like the only thing I fucking remember from this movie, and that's because it was like prominently featured in the trailer.
Yes.
Other than there was a Subaru Outback in the movie, and also I think this being one of the most forgettable movies of the summer is compounded by the fact that this is one of the very few that we didn't review.
Yeah.
So I think there's a pretty strong case for it, especially personally being a C-tier movie.
Okay. I don't know. It's really like a differentiation between like how good of a movie we think it is versus how well we remember it, how beloved it is in our minds, how often we think about it. Because I can say good things about the Boogeyman in that, while yes, it is like trauma is the monster. I think it does that quite well. I think it's actually a quite well directed film. I think the performances are quite solid for a horror film like that. And I remember a couple more things about it. I remember when we're blasting apart the monster with a shotgun and luring it out and stuff like that. Or when we have to bring back fire to burn it. We're burning it to a crisp in the corner of a basement and whatnot. But Tucker, I'm okay with putting it in C. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Though B for Boogeyman, is that anything?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
but here's the thing,
G
Tucker.
for Guardians, Tanner.
Fair. That's a fair point. Would it be fair to put it above Fast X in C tier? Because I think it is a better movie, pretty
Okay.
unequivocally than Fast X.
We can do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's fine. I don't agree,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll allow it.
All right.
How about that?
Okay.
How about that?
What
That
I don't
kinda
want
is my
I don't
fucking
want this
heart.
to be the concession I get for the. I don't want my concession to be the boogeyman here, but we'll move on. We'll move on from the boogeyman.
Okay. And Tanner,
Yeah.
I gotta start the bidding without even saying the name of the movie.
Okay.
C tier for Transformers: Rise of the Beast. This
Ah,
isn't one of the
Tucker.
worst movies of the summer, but what the fuck? Transformers: Rise of the Beast is the most summer ass movie that we got this summer.
Yeah.
It is a fucking nothing, high budget, fits into an IP horse shit goddamn movie.
Tucker, can I be bold?
Lots of spinny gadgets on screen, and it makes my eyes go cross-eyed.
Tucker, may I be bold here?
Yeah,
Can I say D tier for Rise of
you
the Beast?
can say that, Tanner. You can say that.
Because okay, so we're talking about like, oh, Fast X wasn't a good movie. In fact, I would say it's a bad movie. I don't know where you'd land on that, frankly. But like, I think we could both agree that Transformers is a bad movie, and there's not a lot to like think about or love about it
Yeah.
or like about
Yeah.
it. We watched all the Transformers films last summer, actually,
Yeah.
just this last summer, and this doesn't get anywhere close to those heights. Not anywhere near it. And
No, because what the worst summer blockbusters that are, the nothing filler
Mhm.
do is they lack style. They exist only to service the fucking machine,
Mhm.
pun intended here. It's just make content in IPs
Yes.
to make money at box office.
And Tucker, do you remember what IP we're trying to combine Transformers with at the end of this
Christ. Honestly, Tanner,
Yep.
though, if they do end up combining it with G.I. Joe, that'll be fucking interesting. I will watch that.
film?
I'm excited for it.
We'll watch it, of course, but will it actually be interesting, or will it just be guys in gray suits running around giant robots? I ask
And
you
you know
this.
what, Tanner? That's what this movie was as well.
Yes.
Remember when fucking
Anthony Ramos?
Anthony Ramos got in a goddamn Iron Man weird ass suit?
I
That was
do
fucking
remember
strange.
that.
Yeesh.
I'm gonna
Okay,
say
you know what,
D-
Tanner?
Yep.
Let's do it. Let's fucking go for
It's
it.
D tier. I'm sorry.
It's a D tier
Hey,
movie.
Transformers fans, I'm sorry. I love the Michael Bay Transformers movies. I don't know if that irks you to say that I love
Yeah.
those movies, or at least I
Yeah.
enjoy them to a much greater degree than Rise of the Beast.
I'm lowering my score for this on Letterboxd as well, by the way.
as we speak. Okay. Is there anything else to say about Rise of the Beasts?
No, I don't want to talk about it
Okay.
anymore.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right. All right.
Now, Tanner, we're coming up to a notorious weekend. A weekend that includes Elemental and The Flash.
Oh.
Which one do you want to start with here?
Let's do
We've got
Elemental.
an E tier movie and an F tier movie here, Tanner.
Let's do Elemental first, Tucker, shall we?
Yeah. Begin the bidding, Tanner.
Elemental. You know what? A. A.
You're fucking speaking to my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to put it in A as well, of course. If you know anything about me personally, not related to this channel at all, because
Mm-hmm.
I've not talked about this on the channel, but Elemental is my current favorite Pixar movie,
Wow.
which is
Wow.
insane to say.
Mm-hmm.
People do not like that I say that. There's people out in the streets rioting. They picket in front of our house. People are picketing SAG-AFTRA. They're picketing me liking Elemental
Uh-huh.
now. But it really personally resonated with me in a way that, frankly, most animated movies haven't, especially not in a while. And I got a chance to see it twice, and I loved it even more that second time. And I've listened to the soundtrack, and so it's an S tier in my heart, but A tier is right
Yeah.
for this movie. And Tanner, this is gonna make your little warm, little dark heart feel warm. This is one of the first movies I've considered getting when it physically releases. 'Cause
Wow.
I'm like, I'm curious about like all the behind the scenes of this stuff
Sure.
and like just like be able to like have this movie that's special to me.
Yeah.
Physically. Though I haven't tracked when it's releasing. It might already be out. I don't fucking know.
I think honestly, it might be. I think it's on VOD.
Well,
now,
I've thought
isn't it?
about it.
Yeah.
I haven't
okay.
done research, but I've thought about it.
Okay. Fair.
But A, any thoughts more on Elemental here? A is good for me.
Yeah.
And now the question is,
yeah.
is this above or below Spider-Verse?
I think it's below Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think there. I remember still like I remember being I remember enjoying Elemental. Let's say that.
Yeah.
I had a good time. There's like that montage sequence that I remember quite well that I thought like
Yeah.
conveyed the trope of like our characters getting to know each other and having fun and going on romantic little dates quite well, and it looks great. I mean, as any Pixar film
Oh, yeah.
is off to do. But you know, I think it's still. I remember having some story structure issues with this thing,
Sure. Yeah.
greater than those of Spider-Verse, because I don't think the story
course.
structure of Spider-Verse was my issue. It was just maybe kind of like a hitching issue. It didn't quite get hooked up between the two halves. And Elemental, I think.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
At Elemental, things get hooked up.
Oh boy, Tucker, do they get hooked up? They get steamy.
They get hitched.
They get hitched. They do get hitched in Elemental, I think, at the
Yeah.
end of things. Tucker, to summarize my thoughts on Elemental, remember having a good time with it. Remember having some story structure issues, and I think it is like not. It's not certainly not as bad as people were making it out to be initially.
Yeah.
And it has kind of become, I think, with its box office sort of underdog tale, it has also sort of had a critical and public reception underdog tale. People being like,
Definitely.
"This movie's good, actually. It's quite good."
Yeah.
And people have continued to go see it because it's cute, it's nice, it's you know not certainly not offensive in any way. Not that Pixar movies are often offensive anyway. But depending on people were calling this like woke garbage or whatever for.
Oh, there's a non-binary character, Tanner.
That's true. That's what it is.
Isn't that terrible? They have like 3 lines.
Yeah, it's true. That's awful. Like I can't believe it. Why isn't the reactionary mob getting mad at Claude? Okay, that's what I want to know.
That's a great point.
That's who they should be getting mad at. Let's put Elemental in A behind Across the Spider-Verse.
That's fine. That's fine by me.
All right.
And you know what? That's a win for the Wade heads,
Yes.
boys. Let's go. Tanner, another movie came out that same day.
Yes.
A little movie known as The Flash, and now
It is a little movie, isn't it?
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
it's a little Tanner. Oh God, and this is a great. Put this in your back pocket for a title for a future review. The little movie that couldn't.
There you go.
Because The Flash is the big movie that couldn't.
Exactly.
We're just gonna call it the little movie that couldn't. And I'm just gonna say, even if it's bottom of D tier, C tier, anything that's not D tier is okay in my books.
Okay, Tucker. Then let's do bottom of C.
Yes!
I was thinking about this when when we were like gearing up, to record this video today. I was like, are we gonna have to like duke it out over The Flash, a movie that I really don't like and Tucker you quite enjoy? But no, bottom of C tier I think is just fine. And Tucker, here we go. I'd be remiss, I'd be lying, I'd be a dirty pants on fire liar if I said that there weren't certain sequences of The Flash that I enjoyed. There weren't elements of The Flash that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Small as they may be in comparison to my issues with the film, I'd be lying if I said I completely hated every single second, every single thing, every single moment, every single frame of The Flash.
Now, you'll have to remind me if we get to it. Is there any movie this summer that you hated every single frame of? Because that's such a fucking huge, exaggeratory, ridiculous thing to say.
None this summer, I don't think. There
are some movies in your life that
I would say
frame of.
I would say that a this year release, one that kind of maybe got some mild buzz on like Twitter or whatever, just for being what it is, Nefarious. I would say I hated every frame of.
Sure.
What else was there? The Sun earlier this year, I would say. Maybe I hated every frame of. Maybe not every frame. That may be an exaggeration, but certainly Nefarious, I'll say. Tucker, what's next? What's next for us?
Oh, wow, that was quick for The Flash.
Yeah, I mean, well, hey. I mean, what else? What is there to say about The Flash? It's been talked to death. It's been stabbed. It's been kicked. It's been thrown in a ditch and dragged to the mud. Justifiably so, I would say.
It's dragged down Warner Brothers with it.
It has dragged down Warner Brothers, but they've risen to the top again with Barbie. So they're somewhere in the middle now, I guess.
Yeah, let's go from two big, let's put some air quotes on that, big movie, summer movie releases to maybe the smallest release that we have on here. Actually, no. Smallest release we have on here, which is Asteroid City.
Sure.
Tanner, releasing just a week later. And this is a good Wes Anderson movie.
It is good, yeah.
A lot of fun. Very, very... Lots of unique set design. Lots of funky little characters and little story bits. And there's an alien that comes down and grabs a rock at one point.
There is.
It's interesting that I think maybe because I haven't really sat with it because this summer movie season was so busy and we were seeing multiple movies a week. But Asteroid City hasn't stuck with me, but I also don't really hold that against the movie because it was unique, and I think the reason it hasn't stuck with me is because I haven't thought about it.
Okay.
And also, it dropped out of conversation real quick.
Yes,
to be 100% honest.
because it dropped out of theaters really quick. I think is really what happened there. But I saw Asteroid City twice. I really enjoy this film.
Ooh.
I think it is among Wes Anderson's best. There was a lot of conversation when it came out. I was like, is it Wes Anderson's best movie? Oh my god, is this his worst movie? I can't believe it. I think it's among his best.
People are saying it's his worst movie.
There were some people being like, Wes Anderson has over Wes Anderson himself. He's just like,
sure,
he's Ouroborosing. He's not developing his style in any way. And I would say that Asteroid City certainly is a development of his style. I mean, even if you don't believe that, you have to admit that it is the biggest Wes Anderson film from a production standpoint, from a directorial standpoint, even from maybe a story structure standpoint. We have multiple layers and story structures and story layers of this is a fictional play within a fictional television program or whatever. And I think it has some of the maybe not best Wes Anderson moments, but some really recognizable ones. I saw someone yesterday on Twitter posting about the Jeffrey Wright speech that he gives.
Yeah,
it's
a great speech.
I'm so glad that Jeffrey Wright has been incorporated into the Wes Anderson acting troupe, because he's just a great addition. Jason Schwartzman is fantastic in this. Scarlett Johansson is fantastic in this. And Tucker, as you opened up this conversation about, it looks fantastic.
It definitely does.
That quaint 1950s atomic small town in the middle of the desert. It's instantly iconic, I think.
No, absolutely. And I think that is what really does stick with this movie. For me, stick with me for this movie. Yes. I mixed around a couple words there, but you get the general gist. Okay. Is its aesthetic, and it is very Wes Anderson-y, but it's also Wes Anderson aesthetic placed onto ostensibly a Western. I mean, small town, the tumbleweeds rolling by, the mesas and plateaus off in the distance. No movie looked like this movie, not only because it's a Wes Anderson movie, but because it's Wes Anderson's Western.
Yeah.
It's the Western.
Hello.
Holy shit.
Very good.
But I have to say that I think what holds us back from being my favorite Wes Anderson movie is that story structure element. Okay. I think it becomes thematically confusing and structurally confusing as I'm trying to follow what is fucking happening here and what do these characters mean and are they lying in the play version, or did that happen? Which part's fake? It gets to the point where I'm like, I can't just sit down and immerse myself in this world because the movie pulls itself out of itself at multiple points. It's we got other things to think about here, and I'm like, no, just keep me in Asteroid City, and I want to see the seafoam green sky and the weird pie they're eating at the fucking little restaurant and stuff. And I really enjoyed Asteroid City, but the play structure and the writer structure around it, I think, significantly distracted from my experience of it. And so I think that this is high B tier, top of B tier.
Oh, I think we got to go A. Come on,
low A tier.
I don't think this is I don't think this is a mid movie in any regard.
Sure.
I mean, if we're looking at it, right here, B is right in the middle. That's mid. That's mid.
Yeah,
for me.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. So is bottom of A okay with you, or do you want to go for above Elemental?
You know what, Tucker? I would personally, I would place it above Elemental, but I'm okay putting it at the bottom if that's where you want it.
I mean, we got into A tier for you.
Yeah, we should. It's true. A for Asteroid City. I love the alliteration here. I'm loving it.
Damn it! How many more of these could we even do that with? Barbie,
Blue Beetle.
That's it.
Yeah.
Look at all these. You're running out of steam for this fucking joke, Tanner.
Oh no.
Oh, God. Now, we got to Asteroid City, and now it's time for No Hard Feelings.
Okay.
Tanner, I've started a lot of bidding recently.
Yeah.
Where do you want to put No Hard Feelings?
Can we put No Hard Feelings in B?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Top of B, of course, above the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, above the Little Mermaid for sure. And I recently reiterated this point, my feelings about No Hard Feelings, when we watched Bottoms, another raunchy R-rated comedy of this summer season, slash not summer because it's actually getting a wide release on September 1st, but I digress. I feel like and I know this is certainly a unpopular opinion. It
Okay.
doesn't really earn that like rated R raunchiness for its whole runtime. There is,
Sure.
of course, the beach fight sequence, which is
Yes.
fantastic and makes up for a lot of my complaining about
A
that.
lot of lost
A
time.
lot of lost time. But as a movie that was like so hyped up as like the
Yeah.
R-rated comedy is back, and oh my god, we're gonna be effing and Jeff, and there's gonna be sex, there's gonna be yada yada yada. It really fell
They
flat.
don't fuck.
They don't fuck. No one. No, there is some fucking, I think.
There's a good amount of implied fucking.
Yes, there is. But it fell flat in those areas.
Her
for
cousin
me.
at the beginning.
And yes, the character like rom-com drama of it all
Yeah.
was a lot better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could get that sort of stuff out of some other films this season.
Sure.
And Jennifer
Yeah.
Lawrence is good in this. I forget the younger actor's name, but he's good in this. But at the end of
Andrew Barth Feldman.
Thank you, Tucker.
Funny name.
But at the end of the day, I have to say, like, No Hard Feelings isn't going to leave a lot of impression on me outside of that one iconic beach fight sequence. I felt like I also like getting more into it filmically. I thought the editing wasn't quite good enough for the comedy to land, and it was like there was a lot of downtime for me in what was supposed to be a sort of high octane rated R comedy.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I think B is a very comfortable tier for this movie to land. I preferred it more than your average bear, and I think it being surprising and technically not really what it was sold as was what ended up having to be like a surprise for me. I'm like, oh, that was more distinct and interesting than I expected it to. But I also have to admit that it has not stuck with me, and we're talking about a lot of movies doing that for me. But one thing I like to think about as I reflect on movies is I kind of have two movie minds.
Okay.
I have the movie mind that is reviewer mind is I'm just out of the theater in the moment. I'm super fresh in this. I can remember every scene and my specific pros and cons of the movie. What are my thoughts then? And then there's the rest of my life movie mind, which is how did it stick with me? How much have I referenced it or thought about it? How has it been brought up in pop culture to continue bringing it back in my mind? What was my personal connection to it? And does that elevate it above things that might be like technically better, but it has less emotional resonance because of that, or more emotionally resonant because of that? And though I felt that way in the moment about No Hard Feelings, I'm like, oh yeah, this is something kind of special. I've lost my luster on that. And it also like it didn't get the like cultural luster that it was kind of gunning for, and I kind of maybe thought it would have because it had a really popular trailer. But it is just a totally above average summer movie comedy. It's got some good parts, it's got some good performances, but your friends aren't telling No Hard Feelings jokes.
It's not at the end of the year. It's not going to be for me in the funniest movies of the year conversation. It might be for a lot of people, but just not for me.
Yeah, but I think also top of B is comfortable right now because
for sure.
Yeah, this is better than Little Mermaid.
Yes, it is. It is better than Little Mermaid for sure. Though it doesn't have the scuttlebutt, so you have to weigh that stuff out.
But it has the Lawrence butt.
It does have the Lawrence butt. You're so right, Tucker.
It's true, and frankly,
yeah,
I think that's better. Go on a limb here.
Hey, I'd have to do some thinking and some praying about it.
Some introspection here.
I'd have to.
Tanner.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's move on to a movie that might have caused a little introspection in us. I'd say this is another one of the most just like filler fucking summer blockbuster nonsense movies of the year, and this is unfortunate because it's from a great director and in a great franchise, and that is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Fucking Destiny.
Oh yes.
I think this is the summer movie that broke me.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's another great video title right there. The summer movie that broke me.
Yeah. It's not the worst, but I think it might have been the most disappointing.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
We made a review with Abram that was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny made us sad.
Yes.
And I think that might be one of the most apt review titles we've done this summer. And it's also, I think, continually disappointing because we're talking about those two different movie minds I have. Out of the theater, I was disappointed because I remembered how poor the editing was, and I didn't really like the action sequences, and there were like thematic structural problems with it. But it also doesn't pass the rest of my life movie mind either, because Indiana Jones is a cultural icon.
Absolutely.
And when you introduce a new movie to that franchise, even if it's Crystal Skull and we're talking about the Shia LaBeouf and aliens and ants and stuff, this movie has old Indy and time travel. Yeah. And frankly, the time travel part did not crack into the cultural consciousness.
No.
It should have.
Yeah.
Like when you think about the formula of old Indiana Jones time traveling to fucking Rome or whatever, it should have cracked into the cultural consciousness. But no one is like, oh man, that's up there. Yeah, Indiana Jones had something. Even if the movie wasn't good, at least it had that.
Yeah, it really is crazy. You're right. It's like crazy that, I mean, years and years removed from Crystal Skull, and that stuff has become iconic. Even though it's maligned against, and some people like it, some people hate it. But like, even now, nobody's talking about Dial of Destiny.
God, no.
Nobody's talking about the things they loved, the things they hated. It's just been forgotten. Like an old relic, and that's maybe something that the themes of Dial of Destiny were supposed to be touching upon.
Yeah.
But it got lost in the noise and the blur and the everything that was so disappointing about Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tanner, is this a D tier movie?
I think we might be talking ourselves into making it a D tier movie.
Yeah.
Now, when I walked out of the theater, I was like, oh, Harrison Ford's good. Like, you can't really discount him as Indiana Jones, but like, I think I might start doing that. Because like, if I want a good Harrison Ford Indiana Jones performance, I have 3-4 other Indiana Jones movies to do that about. So,
and his cameos at the end of Young Indy episodes.
Of course, and I have those. So thank you very much. Is it above or below Transformers? What do you think, Tucker?
I mean, it has time travel in old Indy.
Yeah.
The only thing that Rise of the Beast has is the G.I. Joe stinger at the end. At least there's a scene in this movie.
I remember
that is interesting.
In Transformers, I remember liking the Mama Said Knock You Out when Bumblebee jumps out of the plane. You remember that? When he jumps out of the plane and he's like shooting guys on the way down.
I think I actually remember saying I explicitly didn't like that.
Okay.
But I only remember the conversation and not the scene. So.
Okay, very good. So, yeah, okay. Let's put it below Transformers. I see what you're saying, Tucker.
Above, you mean?
Oh, sorry. Did we say above? Oh, yeah.
I said above.
Oh, you said above. Yeah, let's put it above. Yeah. Okay.
Because I gotta be honest, even if Harrison Ford's not great in Dial of Destiny, Harrison Ford in Dial of Destiny is better than the entirety of Rise of the Beast.
We did it again. We didn't know. D for Dial of Destiny.
Oh, sure. Okay, all right. I'll give that to you. Okay, now you're giving yourself leeway with the subtitles as well?
Mm-hmm. I am. I'll give Tucker, I will give myself leeway anywhere I can goddamn find it.
Okay. Well, that means that tier for Trench, D tier for Dead Reckoning.
No!
M tier for Mutant Mayhem.
No. Okay, Tucker, what's next?
Tanner?
Yeah?
I think we're on to maybe the movie that didn't annoy me the most, but on to the worst movie this summer here. Insidious: The Red Door happened, Tanner.
It did.
It happened. We didn't review it. I think this is the movie I regret not reviewing the most, because we would have a lot of fun talking about Insidious: The Red Door. This movie was atrociously edited.
Yes.
It was atrociously shot.
Yes.
It was atrociously acted.
Yes.
And it is just all a disappointment because the Conjuring universe... No, sorry, this isn't the Conjuring. I'm so stupid.
Insidious.
The Insidious universe. I'm sorry, I'm getting
Insidiverse.
James Wan horse shit stuck in my head. The Insidious universe is something that intrigues me. And I even enjoy Last Key a little bit more than most...
Your average bear.
Yeah, my aunt... Tanner,
yeah.
Here it comes. Your average Lambert.
Oh, very good,
because
Tucker.
This one
That's
features
the
the return
episode.
of the Lambert family. And I wish they'd not returned. Patrick Wilson jumping in the directorial chair.
Yep.
A bad start.
Yeah.
Couldn't direct himself.
No.
To save his fucking life.
Couldn't direct the movie in general.
And we were just annoyed throughout the whole thing,
Yeah.
and then we left and we're like, God damn, I can't fucking believe we saw that.
Yeah. It is the only half-star movie I have here this summer, so...
Sure. Yeah.
I mean...
It's gotta be my lowest rated as well.
I really have to say, like, I didn't enjoy anything about Insidious: The Red Door. Not a single thing. I would even go so far as to say it darkens and steps on the legacy or like the fond memories
Yeah.
that horror fans have of the Insidious movies, at least those first two,
Sure.
as it is
Yeah.
like trying to return to that, bring the family
Definitely.
back. So yeah, Tucker, I think there's no bones about it. We're putting this in D tier.
Yeah.
Bottom of D?
Absolutely. God.
Bad movies.
That's the most we've talked about that movie.
It is.
Since we saw it. Holy shit. Though actually, I do remember us standing outside in the lobby after we finished,
Yep.
And me saying, I kind of like that like funny roommate side character.
Uh-huh.
And you guys were like, what?
Yeah.
We fucking hated her. I'm like,
She
okay.
she felt like straight out of a Disney sitcom to me.
Oh
so.
God. And you know what?
Yeah.
D tier movie.
D-tier
Tanner.
movie.
D tier movie.
All right. What's up next, Tucker? I think I know.
Well, no, you don't actually, because Guardians of the Galaxy was not the first summer movie we watched. This
I know,
year.
Tucker. I'm way ahead of you, pal. I'm way ahead of you.
Motherfucker, you're so smart. You're so clever and like really attractive too. And like you make great videos. You host them. We host them well. You got great film criticism.
Tucker, are you talking to me or are you talking to yourself, pal?
Joyride was actually the first movie we saw
this
summer, and Joyride is now up on our list. And boy, how did this movie get overlooked! But it is a movie that we will always remember because we got to see it at the world premiere, and that was the best way to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner, we're one of the lucky few to have the optimal viewing experience for Joyride, a movie that
theater.
Oh yeah, and full of people excited for it, which is what you need for Joyride to hit its highest. And we were there for it to hit its highest. And I really, really, really enjoyed Joyride. We're talking about comedies of this summer, memorable sequences, memorable lines. Joyride has them.
Yeah.
In a way that the other comedies we've talked about really have not. And frankly, most of the comedies from this year, referencing "it's not a puppet, it's my asshole" is the comedy line that I've said the most.
Yes, it
this
is.
summer. And it has great performances and funny moments, and it turns that raunch up to 11.
It does.
And so, for me, Joyride is an A tier movie. I don't think I can argue it to be top of A tier or even above Asteroid City, but that's where I'm starting the bidding. It is certainly, if we're talking about one that I've remembered, one that I've referenced, actually might be one of the most that I've consistently referenced from this.
Yeah. And Tucker, it is, to be clear for us, it is riding a lot on that theater experience that we had
Definitely.
at the world premiere at South by Southwest, packed theater, everyone's laughing along to this thing. And I'm coming at it from that standpoint, and I'm coming at it from like you said, my main issue with No Hard Feelings being that it didn't have consistent raunch to it. Joyride has it. Joyride has it in spades. And maybe, the character drama isn't as good as we got in No Hard Feelings, but it's there, it's present, and it's a very balanced ensemble comedy. And I would even say that while looking back on it, I think that Joyride may have its editing issues. It certainly serves the comedy better than the editing in No Hard Feelings. So Tucker, since we were so energized at that moment when we first experienced Joyride together, I'll put it at bottom of A. I got no bones about it.
Now here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's either bottom of A or top of B.
Yes, it is.
Which is where No Hard Feelings currently is, and I think we'd both agree that it's better than No Hard Feelings.
I would say so.
We are doing our ranking here, and so I totally understand if someone was like, yeah, this was funny, but like, not super special, so top of B tier, or somewhere in B tier if you're so inclined. But we had the experience there.
Yeah.
And so we got to reflect that in our fucking ranking.
I often think about that, of like, I mean, you have to. I think you have to factor that in, but with any movie, but it's especially present in comedies. I think.
Yeah,
definitely. We were in a sold out theater for Bottoms, and I fucking loved Bottoms, dude. It was hilarious, and so unique in itself. So if we were talking about it here, it would also be in like A or potentially even S, because I think it is such a unique comedy to come out in 2023. But yeah, I'm fine.
There's actually one exception to this rule, though, Tanner.
What's that?
A comedy we saw this year that we still found incredibly hilarious, and that's fucking Mafia Mama, baby.
That's true.
It was mostly just us and like a handful of other people.
Yeah.
But we were giggling our batushkas off.
We did love Mafia Mama. That's true. That's true. It wasn't a summer movie, sadly, so we can't talk about it. Can't rank it here, but
can't put an S tier now.
Tucker, what was after that special July 7th weekend of Insidious and Joyride?
We got the worst release date movie of the year, Tanner.
Yeah, we did.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 was sent out to fucking die.
Yeah.
They took him behind the goddamn shed and they shot him in the head. But Tanner?
Yeah?
is a great goddamn movie.
It's such a good movie, though. It's so
that's
good.
the worst part.
Yeah.
The worst part is that it's great.
The worst part is that
God damn it.
that it really is great. I mean, we watched all the Mission Impossible movies leading up to the release of Dead Reckoning Part 1 and just had a fantastic time with this thing. It's so prescient. It's like pitching the king of movie stars, Tom Cruise, up against the impending doom of AI, very prescient and like sort of
it's very interesting,
reflective of our time, I think.
Yeah.
It has some of the
most... Mission Impossible being about practical effects and him doing his own stunts.
Yes. It has some of the most dynamic action sequences of any film this summer. It has a really great ensemble cast to it. We're bringing back, of course, faces like Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg. But we're also bringing in new faces like Haley Atwell, Palm Clementif, and it's great. And it is the release date thing, I think, certainly.
Yep.
But we talked about why this movie failed in the Backlot Banter episode for July of 2023. But I gotta put this in A tier, Tucker. Would you disagree?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Okay.
No, totally. Because here's the thing: we're talking about movies and long-running franchises. Franchises they won't let die. Franchises they're just, it's an IP. We got to put it out in the summer to make some fucking money. This is interesting because it was put out in the summer to make money, and then it didn't, but not by any fault of the movie. Fault of the studio. And it's just the best example of all of those. A long-running franchise in a respected IP that doesn't disappoint and continues to one-up itself and has iconic moments and characters and lines that we continue to reference and think about. And, I mean, jumping off that cliff is one of the most iconic action moments of the year.
Yes.
Of this decade.
Yes.
So far. I mean, it's not even close. And we're talking about action movies here that, okay, conceptually, Dial of Destiny has one scene, and maybe Fast X might have one, and Transformers certainly doesn't have any. And, of course, the ones that are top with Guardians and Spider-Verse definitely have great action sequences. But for the IP action movie that Mission Impossible is, it does what you fucking want.
Yeah.
And I also think that this movie will only continue to be reevaluated because more people will see it over time and will revisit it as they're going through the legacy of this franchise and be like, God damn, it's so sad.
I mean, when we do
this movie didn't make money.
When we do this in, let's say, a year, but probably more than that for Dead Reckoning Part 2, come on.
That's not coming out next year.
Tucker, don't get me. Don't go there. Don't go there, pal. No. Okay, I put it at top of A. Is that cool? Is that chill? Is that chilling?
I think so. Okay. I think that memorability factor and, frankly, Dead Reckoning, even though I don't like it more than Across the Spider-Verse, I think Spider-Verse is a more well-rounded movie. Because I will have to say, and actually, I think I'm going to argue to put it one below Spider-Verse.
I'm okay with that.
I will say that where Mission Impossible fails is that fucking villain is a bag of wet socks, man. Yeah. He fucking sucks. He has no presence. I don't know what I don't know what his motivation is.
Yeah.
And
it's a little unclear, and I'm sure we'll get that in Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Yeah, but even then, we've had some unclear plots in previous not Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible movies.
Yes.
Sorry, you know what? There's also unclear plots in Fast and Furious movies.
For sure.
The villains have still had presence, and I don't even know what this fucking guy's name was. It's called Carlos. Carlos, that's not his name, but let's call him that.
What is it? Isn't it
what
like...
the fuck is his... What is his performance? What is he doing? What does he want? I don't fucking know.
Gabriel.
He wants the god...
I was gonna say Dante, but that's Fast X, but it's another like biblical illusion thing. It's Gabriel.
Yeah, and I really do hold that against this movie because Mission Impossible has had great villains in the past, even if their plots and their motivations have been ridiculous.
The perfect example of that is Mission Impossible 3, which is a incomprehensible plot, but is anchored by a fantastic performance by Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, but even Fallout and Rogue Nation have some great villain performances, and this just does not add to that, and that really weighs it down for me. And I also do think that there's some editing and pacing issues occasionally, though they're certainly not the majority of the movie. But I think that technically and structurally, Spider-Verse is a more well-rounded movie.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
So I would say bump it down just a spot.
Okay, that's fine.
A spot.
I'm cool with it. Tucker,
A for Mission Impossible.
Tucker, it's time to talk about Barbenheimer, isn't it?
Of course it is,
okay.
Because if there's one thing that we know, if there's one thing we will remember on our fucking dying grave, is that Universal sent Dead Reckoning Part 1 out to die before maybe the cultural event...
Paramount, by the way.
Of our...
Paramount.
Oh, sorry. Versus Universal.
Yes.
Yeah. what the cultural film moment of our lifetimes, maybe behind Endgame, is Barbenheimer. And poor Dead Reckoning, but boy howdy, not poor everyone else. Opposite of poor rich.
Yes.
Because, Tanner, did you see that Oppenheimer's on track to make almost $1 billion fucking
Tucker,
dollars?
I think they're lowballing it. I think we might be looking at $1 billion Oppenheimer.
Would be
the Billenheimer Boppen billion. I don't know. There's something there.
Yeah. Let's we'll workshop that later.
Okay.
Tanner,
Okay.
Off screen. Which one do you want to start with?
Alphabetical order. Let's talk about Barbie.
Sure.
It's S tier, in my mind. For me.
Tanner.
Yeah.
I think the funny thing is, I think we're going double S here.
I think we are going double S tier. I mean, I don't even know how much we should talk about our placement of these, because people know these movies are beloved. Lots of people who don't go to the movies that often love Barbie and Oppenheimer. And if we want to talk about, I was talking about uniqueness being a key factor for some comedies this year for me. Barbie. I mean, come on.
Holy shit, yeah.
It's
if we're talking about cultural relevance and like continued reference this, I think we, or at least I like what's it called? Guardians. I like Guardians a little bit more personally. It resonates with me a little more emotionally. But the most referenced fucking movie of this year is Barbie.
Absolutely.
It's not even close.
If we're talking about performances of the year, Ryan Gosling, Margot Robbie.
God, yeah.
If we're talking about some of the best writer-director stuff of the year, Greta Gerwig. Yeah. We're talking about the
production
design of the year. It's Barbie. It's Music all the way down. Best moments, most like laugh out loud stuff in the theater. Just the bringing back the magic of why you go to a movie theater to experience things alongside your fellow man, your fellow cinephile. It's Barbie all the way down. So yeah, Tucker. I would say, when we talked about Guardians 3 earlier in the video, I espoused my care for the Guardians and what they've meant to me as I've gone through my cinematic journey. So, should we put it below Guardians?
Yes, that's where I would go as well.
Okay.
And the great thing about Barbie is that it's the gift that keeps on giving. Not only literally in terms of money, because Jesus Christ, did Warner Brothers need this?
Yes.
But it's the gift that keeps on giving in terms of not leaving.
Yeah.
Movies are so disposable nowadays, and have for a long time. This isn't a brand new thing, but Barbie makes money and sticks around culturally, and it's because of great marketing and great movie. Mm-hmm. That's the crazy thing, is this wasn't making $1 billion in its Jurassic World Dominion, and we're like,
oh yeah, I guess it squeaked across. It's coming.
There's been no week since it released that it hasn't broken a milestone.
Yeah,
of some kind.
Yeah, I know.
And it is now, as of today, I believe, time of recording, Warner Brothers' highest grossing movie of all time.
It is the highest grossing movie of all time for Warner Brothers. It is the highest grossing movie of the year, or will be very soon?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay.
It's still $200 million behind.
Okay, is it going to cross that line, Tucker? Are we going to get there?
I don't know. I think it'll be a close race.
Okay.
But yeah, Barbie. And interestingly enough, even though Oppenheimer, I think, is my preferred movie of the two, I think I will still put Barbie above.
Okay.
Because Barbie is... It's just a more movie of this summer.
Sure. Yes, I would agree. Barbie is the movie of the summer. It's the movie that's going to...
It's the most movie of the summer. It's the most movie of the year.
It's the movie that's going to define summer 2023, certainly, and potentially 2023 as a whole.
Barbenheimer defines 2023.
Of course,
without a fucking shadow of a doubt.
But... I don't know. For me, I think dollars to donuts. I'm looking at it. I'm not, with some degree of objectivity. Yeah. I think Oppenheimer is the best movie of the year. Sort of, looking at every single angle that you can look at a film from, critically, of course. So I don't know what to do here then, because we agree that it's an S tier.
Here's the thing, Tanner. I agree with you that. When you get in your goddamn bits and donuts, it comes out on top. But it's a fucking tier list, baby.
Okay.
To be honest, it's still an S tier movie, and it's still one of my favorite movies of the year. And I still like it more than Barbie. But I think bottom of S tier is where I feel the most comfortable putting it, because also, frankly, I have not rewatched it. I did rewatch Barbie, and that brought it up in my mind. And Barbie, I think, if we're talking about being referenced and sticking around in my mind, yeah, Oppenheimer's the better movie, but Barbie has definitely stuck with me more. And it's because of that cultural osmosis that makes the best movies what they are. And that will be re-upped for both of them, but specifically for me with Oppenheimer during the awards circuit and during award season, and when it's inevitably nominated for Best Picture, and we get a chance to rewatch it and really analyze it for Quest, and hopefully do the same for Barbie. Oppenheimer will have that chance. It hasn't for me yet, but Barbie is the movie I remember more, even if it's not the better one. It was an interesting balance, but I would certainly be comfortable putting Oppenheimer above Barbie. They're still both S tiers. We said we weren't going to really debate this, but I think the nuance is kind of fun. That's the fucking point of a goddamn
The nuance
tier
is
list.
fun, and
have I convinced you? It's okay to say
you know
no.
what, Tucker?
And if
I
you
think
say no,
in the spirit of continuing ahead, forging on, I will say I'll stick by what I said earlier. Barbie is the movie of the summer, and this is our summer 2023 tier list. So
sure, it's not a 2023 tier list. When we inevitably end up making like what are our favorite movies of the year, yeah, we're gonna put Oppenheimer above. But I think you're right. I think this is a nice balance.
I think so too. Now, Tucker, let's go to Tucker. We were saying Barbie's the movie of the summer, but we forgot.
Oh,
we forgot the real movie of the summer, the one that everyone's talking about. Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
I kid, of course. Tucker, I kid you. I tricked you, didn't I? No one's talking about Haunted Mansion.
Thanks for kidding me.
Yeah.
Tanner, Haunted Mansion is a fucking
yeah, you're right. It is. You're goddamn right. It is.
And I gotta be honest though.
Oh, what's this?
Is it top of D?
Tucker, what did we like about Haunted Mansion?
Lakeith Stanfield gets a very good performance, Tanner. He does. He
a
gives a
good
better performance
point.
than fucking Harrison Ford. I'm gonna be honest. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best performance. He's one of the best performances on here, which is bizarre because I don't like the movie, and it's a bad movie otherwise.
Yeah.
But I think out of all these D tier movies, the Keith Stanfield performance in Haunted Mansion is the best thing out of any of these four movies.
Yeah, I would say so. Yes. And try as they might to derail him with Baskin Robbins product placement and stuck in the middle of his monologue, I think you're right. I think it's top of D. It's a boring as sin movie. It's really bad. It's really forgettable in every single avenue. It doesn't make any sense as a summer release. But goddamn, he's a good actor. What else can you do?
Yeah. And I also do have to say that when we're talking about the experience of watching a movie, for me, surprise versus disappointment is a big thing. I came out of Haunted Mansion surprised, and I came out of Dial of Destiny disappointed. Okay. I was made sad by Dial of Destiny, and I was mildly pleased with one. I was pleased with one aspect of Haunted Mansion, and so we're comparing a shit to a turd here, but there's a golden nugget in one of these turds, and there's no golden nuggets in the other turd.
That's fair. Tucker, top of D it is for Haunted Mansion. Let's forge ahead into August, where in the very same
two movies released that day.
No!
Shit.
I forgot. Yes.
Talk to Me also came out that day, and I gotta be honest, this is one of the movies that has stuck with me the most. Of course, it has been way shorter since it's been almost
1 month,
almost exactly a month actually since we saw it, but so a lot shorter than some of the things that haven't stuck with me from the beginning, like Asteroid City, which was months ago. But Talk to Me, as a horror fan, I really appreciate when a new creative horror voice is added to the canon, and you can see the potential, and you can see the idea that this might become one of our 2020 horror IP concepts.
Especially for a summer that was very light on horror, frankly. I mean, what
we have four here now. We'll have four. Boogeyman, Insidious, Haunted Mansion, Talk to Me, and then
Haunted Mansion.
Okay, let's take that one off.
But no, Tucker, I agree. Talk to Me is fantastic. You're right. It is a really Rocka, the duo is a very interesting voice to add to horror. A24 came in, they delivered with the best horror movie of the summer, let's say, and the most talked about horror movie of the year, I think.
Definitely.
Talk to Me Talk to me, A. Yeah.
I think A, and I am going to lobby
Okay.
at the moment for above Asteroid City. But if that's too hot for you, we can make a go for it.
Um, Tucker, may I say something? We already have Elemental above
That's
asteroids.
the point of the
I,
conversation.
I would love if you said no and we just ended the video.
Just
Yeah.
fuck off there.
We already have Elemental above Asteroid City, which is sort of in your camp and not specifically mine. So,
Yes.
can we put Talk to Me below Asteroid City? Even though I think those two films are much closer in quality for me than Elemental and
Sure.
Asteroid City.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine. That's it's
Yeah,
barely
exactly.
a change, to be honest.
Yeah. Good movie. And Tucker, as you recently revealed to me, there's a prequel for this film filmed already, and hopefully
Yeah.
we're getting that soon. They're probably planning a theatrical release for that. A24 doesn't really have a
Yeah.
straight to streaming option. They're not really about that whole thing,
No.
which is
Yeah.
good. But I just want to see it as soon as possible. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the really cool thing about this, and also part of what made me such a huge fan of instant fan of Ty West, X, and Pearl last year was the idea that these creative voices are doing things that no one else is doing, not only because they're working with A24 and they're coming from different backgrounds and have ideas for horror, but because they're literally production-wise doing things that no one else is doing. They made 2 movies at once, apparently. This is only confirmed through a couple of lines from an interview. I believe them.
No reason not to.
And it makes all of this more interesting, and it makes me more excited for the future of Talk to Me. It makes me appreciate more Talk to Me because I appreciate the directors more. And also they confirmed that there's a sequel in the works. And so over the next 2.5 years, there's just gonna be a fucking raka explosion as we get maybe 3 fucking movies from these guys as they do another quick low budget horror movie that doesn't take a ton of time, and we get a fucking Street Fighter movie from them. And this is just an introduction to a voice, and maybe the first real introduction to a voice of the summer other than Joyride. And unfortunately, I don't know if Joyride's really going to turn into burgeoning careers for the people involved, which is unfortunate because I appreciate their artistic voices so much. But we have a confirmed start of an artistic career here, and really one of the first of the summer, which is just so exciting.
Okay. No, wait, what do I just? It's
August time. It's August o'clock, baby.
And it's turtle time above anything else, isn't it, Tucker?
Yeah, it is.
We saw this separately, and you actually weren't on the review for TMNT Mutant Mayhem, so I don't know your in-depth thoughts on the newest excursion for our party dudes, our party reptiles, our radical reptiles, let's say. So,
no, turtles are.
They are. Damn it!
Aren't they?
Shit. Our awesome amphibians, Tucker. Let me know what your thoughts are on Mutant Mayhem.
I like this movie quite a lot. I mean, it was a real surprise to me because while I was at one point in another life a Turtles fan, I have since found the radical, oozy nature of an aesthetic to be a little bit of a turnoff. But I think also the thing that kind of turned me off as someone that wasn't fully invested in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is it always felt like they were kind of doing the same thing. The characters kind of felt samey to me, and it was just kind of like a blob of pizza, and I'm like, eh. But I think that the new artistic vision of everyone involved with creating Mutant Mayhem here reversed that for me. I now know which turtle is which, Tim. And that is a real fucking honor for Mutant Mayhem to give me. I loved the reinterpretation of making them feel like genuine teenagers, reflecting current teenage culture. They're voiced by younger people than they, I think, almost ever have been. New art style differentiates them visually. And just creates this wacky world to be in, and I think an amazing Splinter and lots of fun little bits that they're doing. It hasn't stuck with me because I'm not the biggest Turtles fan, but it has stuck with me more than anything else that the Teenage Mutant Turtles have ever been involved in, and it's just a well done movie all around with some unique, compelling, and surprising elements. So yeah, this is a great movie in the summer.
I agree with everything you're saying. Basically about the specifics of the film is that it's they're really good performances from these young actors. I like the art style. I love the sort of cultural reinvention of the Turtles.
Yeah.
Here as
Definitely.
we're still the heart still belongs to that like rad 90s sort of mood, I guess, but they're behaving much more
Yeah.
in a modern sensibility. At the same time, however, I was like, I sat in the theater, I watched Mutant Mayhem. It was like I was like, this is good. Um,
Yeah.
and I haven't thought about it a whole lot since, and I don't know. I appreciate a lot of elements of it, but I just can't bring myself to, for whatever reason, to call it like, yeah, that's a very good movie. That's a great movie. Um,
Yeah. That's
so
fine.
I'd lobby for top of B or bottom of A.
Let's
Okay.
go with top of B.
All
That's
right.
totally fine. I think also my lack of personal
Yeah.
connection to the source material means that I'm not like putting this as one of my favorite movies of the year. It's one of those movies that when you're like, hey, remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I'm like, boom, things jump to mind. I'm like, oh, I had a lot of fun with that. But divorced of like poking me and reminding me this is a movie that came out, I'm not like, oh, best movies 2022 go. I'm like, oh, Mutant Mayhem. That is why it's not A.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I agree. What's next? What's going on next? Yeah.
Tanner, another movie came out around that time. Meg to
The Trench.
Trench, baby. Meg to the Future, baby. God damn, was
Yeah,
stinker.
this is a bad
Jesus.
movie.
Is this another D tier?
I don't know. I don't think it.
Or bottom of C? My mind honestly goes to top of D,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I don't know. I think it has sort of the same, not the same, like level of belovedness, but the same sort of feel to as a Fast and Furious movie.
Sure.
And I think it's
Intentional dumb fun.
intentional dumb fun. I don't think it commits to it enough.
No.
But I wouldn't
God,
say it's as.
You remember that serious section where they're
Yes,
underwater?
exactly.
And there's like not jokes and
that's
not really
my issue
action.
with
You're like,
it.
what the fuck is it?
But I wouldn't say it's as bad or boring or dull as any of the D tier movies.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair. Are you okay with
I'm okay with bottom of C. I'm
C?
okay with that.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
frankly, for better or for worse, I remember a lot more things out of the Flash than I do about the Meg to the Trench.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Meg to
yeah.
the Trench. Drop of the. It's cleaner.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Meg. We'll see another one, I guess.
Probably.
Maybe.
I think it's doing well. So yeah.
It's doing fine. I don't think it's doing as good as the first
Yeah.
one, but diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns. We with the Meg 3, we can have like, I don't know this. Wait, no. You can take a chomp out of the 3, like a thing that becomes the 3.
Oh.
Or two chomps.
Yeah.
Two chomps out of a thing to become a 3. I don't know. It's something. Like, Meg 3 graphical team. Call me.
Wait, hold on. If you like had like a half circle and you took a bite out of it, like one bite, it would just be a C.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd have to be 2 bites, but I also don't like that as much.
Yeah. I agree.
Like I feel like 2 bites, like because a Meg's supposed to have a giant bite, Tanner. And if it's 2 bites, like, oh, are those? I guess maybe there might be baby Megs though, because the one Meg got pregnant. Remember?
Okay.
There's a
We're
fucking
definitely gonna get.
It's Magnet.
It's fucking Magnet, dude. Magnets, how do they work?
It's Meggers.
Yeah. Tucker, what's next? What's after Meg 2?
Fucking blue, goddamn.
No,
Beetle,
isn't
baby.
it Demeter? Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Hey, Tucker, I think that's pretty. I think that. I think that indicates.
No, I looked at my own chart
Oh, okay,
wrong.
okay.
I'm just an idiot. Last Voyage of Demeter. Tanner, where do you want to start this?
Last Voyage of the Demeter is fine. It's a fine movie, I think. There's some good things about it for sure. But if we're talking about movies that define a summer, movies that define a genre, even not getting up there. I guess it's a recently defining film for the Dracula genre, for the vampire genre. That's something that
It's better than Renfield.
exactly. It does something that we both appreciate with like Dracula and vampires as like a monster as a movie monster, which is like make it more demonic, I guess, make it more monstrous instead of like bleh kind of guy. Even though Nick Cage was having fun doing that in Renfield.
God, yeah, he was.
But no, like the production design is good, and this is another thing though where I'm like I feel like it didn't do enough for me. It wasn't gross enough. It wasn't gory enough. It wasn't scary enough.
Yeah. Didn't have any extremes.
Yeah. Which is why I'll say B tier for Demeter.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I would pitch B tier between No Hard Feelings and
Okay,
Little Mermaid.
yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah. I agree, and in my heart, I think it's a little bit higher because as a longtime horror fan, I appreciate when something new is done, and I think there was something new, setting it on the high seas and having it be a
Yeah,
period
yeah,
piece
yeah.
and reinventing Dracula. I
sure.
appreciate these things. But appreciating them conceptually doesn't make it a great movie or put it above other things that have stronger actual like filmic elements. No Hard Feelings has better performances in writing, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does more unique things. So I might personally prefer it to Mutant Mayhem, but I think that we found a very comfortable place.
I think so too. Now,
it's also not a referenceable movie in the
No.
fucking slightest. There are no lines or characters from this goddamn movie to reference. You just remember Dracula on a ship. It's the Dracula,
it's Dracula
on
on a boat,
movie.
baby, and that there was like a weird, like last minute meme spool up about Dracula on a boat on Twitter. Not enough to make a splash at the box office, but
No,
it happened.
God, no. This is gonna be really fun to talk about on fucking Backlog Banter. Jesus.
Now it's Blue Beetle time, Tucker.
Now it's Blue. What did I say last time? Blue Goddamn
like that.
Beetle or something like that? Yeah, I don't know. That was a long time ago. That was years at this point. Blue Beetle. Can I lobby
I'll allow it.
for just below Demeter?
Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly better than fucking Little
It
Mermaid.
is better than Little Mermaid.
But yeah, I think what's interesting here is we're comparing Last Voyage of Demeter, Blue Beetle, two movies that came out back to back, underperforming, but also in similarly well-trodden area. I think Demeter strikes more of its own identity. Blue Beetle, I think, works well despite itself.
That's good. I like that.
That there are elements in there that, despite the tropes, I end up appreciating. But Last Voyage of the Demeter, despite its tropes, it's like, nah, let's do. I'm gonna do my own thing. But Blue Beetle does not.
And even like
thing. It has a nothing villain. It has a nothing plot. It has a good main performance and some fun side characters. And it infuses a little bit of Latino heritage, but otherwise, it's a fucking superhero movie.
It really is a nothing burger instead of a big belly burger for me, Tucker. Thank you.
Would you say that?
Thank you.
Wait, would you say that Demeter is a big belly burger?
No, a big belly burger is a thing in DC Universe.
Oh no, that's right. You're right.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I mean, you compare it to Demeter, but like, I'll flip it the other way and just like really cement its placement. If you compare it to The Little Mermaid, Blue Beetle definitely does more to differentiate itself from movies of its ilk, as slight as they may be, than The Little Mermaid does to differentiate itself from Disney live-action remakes. Yeah.
I mean, both of them have good main performances from their lead actors, new lead actors, but there's some funny moments.
Yeah.
And I like
George Lopez too.
They got that big funny fucking Beetle car.
Yeah.
I like that thing.
The taco.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. George Lopez has the taco, but also I'm talking about like the fucking Beetle
the Beetlemobile, the Beetle plane, the Beetle wing,
the Blue Mobile. Yeah, but unfortunately, I like Blue Beetle in the moment, and I think I have a little more appreciation for it than most people because I just enjoy superhero tropes, similar like I enjoy horror tropes. But I can't, in good conscience, put this over things like No Hard Feelings and Mutant Mayhem, which have much stronger, distinct artistic visions.
I agree. I would agree. Another movie that came out that day, Tucker. Strays.
It's true.
Tanner,
pitch it.
It's I don't know. I'm having a tough time with this one a little bit because, oh God, I don't.
What are you oscillating
C&D
between?
Is what I'm oscillating between.
Okay.
It's a bad movie. It's rarely funny, but it's like sometimes funny, but it also like really feels like it belongs in a theatrical output of 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago even. Because I think it was stuck in development hell for a while. And we talked about it in our review of the film, is that the comedic stylings of Strays oscillate between two modes, which is like just saying the word penis and shit and fuck, and then like dog puns. And it rarely finds a funny moment in there.
Yeah.
So I think I'm talking myself into a D tier movie. But Tucker, divorced from that, tell me what you think.
I think
Okay.
low C is my placement for it because if we're combining the two of us, I did appreciate the movie a lot more than you did. I found it funnier, and I also appreciated the character writing a little bit more. But I can't. I certainly didn't enjoy it more than the Flash or
Yeah.
Fast X. So my pitch is above Meg 2.
Okay.
And
I
below
would
the
still say.
Flash. Is that?
I
Is
would
that
still say
allowed?
below Meg 2, but we can say
Okay.
above Meg 2. That's fine. That's fine with me.
All right. Yes, and you know
What?
what this means, Tanner? The Flash keeps moving up.
Technically, yes.
Technically, it keeps moving up.
Maybe it'll get to S tier, Tucker. Just keep praying. Just keep praying.
Soon. Just keep putting movies on here.
All right.
Oh
Yeah.
God, now Tanner, we get to end it with a bang.
With the biggest bang of the summer.
We're fucking here, PlayStation Productions, baby. It's fucking Gran Turismo. We haven't talked about Gran Turismo.
No, we
haven't.
We saw it separately.
Not much to talk
Exactly.
about here.
When I walked out of Gran Turismo, when the credits rolled, I said
Yeah.
I liked it more as it went on, but
Okay.
it has waned in my mind since because
Yes. What? 5
yes,
days later,
we've talked about how things are bland this summer, about some bland movies
Yeah.
that don't do anything to differentiate itself from their respective genres. Gran Turismo certainly is there. It tries. That's the worst thing about it, I think, is that it tries and it fails. So heartedly, because even like the video game stuff it puts in there, this is like turning into maybe a mini review of Gran Turismo because we don't have one. Is that the style of it is so skin deep. It's nothing that feels like deeply rooted to the heart of the film, because I think this film doesn't really have a heart. I think it purely serves as like a Sony production commercial, and really wears that on its sleeve with the PlayStation logo slapped on the side of the car and loving shots of like the stack of Gran Turismo games on his shelf. So yeah, it's not like the worst thing I saw this summer for sure, but it really isn't memorable or special, or as special as it thinks it is even.
Sure, yeah, and so I'm gonna pitch top of C.
Okay.
Is that where was your mind going?
Where was my mind going, Tucker? I could go between. How would you feel about between Fast X and the Flash?
Totally fine by me. I'm certainly gonna remember a lot more about Fast X.
Yeah. I mean, Fast X.
When we get Gran Turismo, maybe I'll revisit it.
The Fast X definitely has better car stuff than Gran Turismo. Would you say?
Yeah, because they were able to play.
They are able to play with it.
I don't levy that as a criticism against.
Yeah,
Gran Turismo.
it is kind of like just a standard. Standard racing movie.
It's based on real life. It'd be very hard for them to do otherwise. But yeah, no, this is a fine place. But...
Okay.
No, Tanner the Flash.
Oh, we undid it all at the end of the day. Didn't quite get to S. Didn't quite get there.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, August pushed Flash.
That's true. Oh, overall.
Technically.
Overall it did.
It's overall a dub.
Tucker, there we have it. We did it. We did.
Yeah.
There's our summer 2023 tier list.
Yep.
Very balanced. It's actually. No, it trends just a little bit downward, I think, because they're
barely downward. One movie downward.
So yeah.
That's interesting. Interesting
about
summer.
About halfway
summer.
through it, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a solid summer here." Actually, with we have plenty of stuff in A tier and S tier, and then as the summer went on, I think it definitely got worse. I mean, we started off strong this summer, I think, certainly.
No, it was really just
August. It really was August that dragged it down.
Late
July,
July,
late July was great.
Like
actually.
really late July.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, technically, but also I'm just saying like end of July into August gave us like half our bottom tier with Gran Turismo, Haunted Mansion, Stray, and Meg 2. So, but you know what? Hey, the great part about this is we were able to put movies in high tier and low tier from almost every month of the summer.
And
there are no August movies above B. Because there was no like really awesome major releases. But yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting summer.
If
Any closing thoughts?
hey, if MGM had wide released bottoms in August, then there would be something above B.
Yeah.
But there's
Well, I
not,
haven't seen it
and
yet, so I hate it.
Tucker, I don't know. I don't know what we do with you.
Oh God.
But yeah,
Maybe you treat me like Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part
take
1.
you behind the barn. But no, I think ultimately this is a good summer for movies. I mean,
Yeah.
any given year, you're going to have bad and forgettable things. But you look at the upper echelon, we have some like culturally and like yearly, even too early to tell, but like maybe generationally defining films here, films that have really transformed our
Yeah.
thoughts on like current American filmmakers like Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yep.
Uh, something that sort of maybe turned around the common cultural understanding of the MCU as a operation
Yeah.
for putting out films.
Yeah. Tanner, in the summer of oh God, superhero fatigue is
Yeah.
really going to hit us hard. We got two of potentially the best
I
superhero
agree.
movies of all time,
Yeah.
which is interesting to think about where we were going into the summer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how's this going to happen? Though we also had no doubts that Spider-Verse and Guardians
Yeah.
were going to be anything less than
Yeah.
fantastic.
I think this summer is
What the
really
fuck ever.
interesting. We can talk about this in our forthcoming Backlot Banter 2023 in review. But I
Yeah.
think it is with like the strikes and everything. I think we are like bubbling to the surface some things that are great about Hollywood and some things that are really bad about Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
And we'll get into all of that in due time. But here's our tier list, baby.